Alright, so because you guys seem to like the tattoo design video, I decided I'll make another one. This one will be a series, so it'll cover the whole designing process from beginning to end. And I decided to go something more simple for that because the other one took like 4 hours. I really don't want to put, series up that long anymore just because no one ever really watches the end parts anyway. And if I would do something that long, I can just put it up for like a $10 download or something. It's not a big deal. Okay, so the last one I did, I'm gonna go ahead and show it just in case you haven't seen the final version of it. And you can see the final version in my DeviantArt account, and I linked to it in the other video. So, right. Anyway, so there's the spawn skull, how it came out, and then here's the design I was working on before. As you see, it went through a lot of changes. I decided to go with these kind of cool spider leg looking wings, and I like the overall design. It looks really cool. The girl's optional; she can have her on a separate layer. Anyway, let's get started on this tutorial now. So the first thing I do is I just kind of sketch here like her calf, her lower calf area, and it kind of comes down. It's on the outside of her calf, and it kind of comes down to the ankle. I think the ankle might be right about here. Actually, I can't remember. I'd have to have her, look at it, but it doesn't matter. I know the overall shape of the tattoo that I'm covering up is something like this. And she wants like a flower with a lot of swirlies, the butterfly coming up from a side view, and it's going to have a lot of swirlies and be like a swirly butterfly, so it looks more magical and fairy tale like. So I have the overall shape of what I'm going to be doing. When you're doing a cover up, I recommend just to silhouette what you're covering up. There's no reason to draw out what you're going to be covering up unless it's you really need to work with the shapes within that design to turn it into something else. But in her case, she had it surgically removed, so there's only a little bit of ink that where the parts that went too deep. There's just a couple little parts here and there that need to be covered up. But for the most part, it's kind of blank canvas. It's just I know that I need to cover up that area, so the scar tissue mainly. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of put the shape of the flower in here. So I know that's going to cover up a lot of the region here, and it's going to be kind of shaped like this where. So it's going to be kind of like that. I just, when you're drawing, you know how in drawing books it tells you use basic shapes? Really, that is so important to get the overall look and feel of the drawing before you start adding any details. That everything looks right, proportions all look right. And this is true for drawing a human body. It's true for drawing just about anything. And so if you were drawing a bunny rabbit, you'd kind of have, the head here, the ears going to be something like that, let's say going back. Then, you have this other part of the head. And then you have like the body and stuff and the tail and part of the legs here. And it's important when drawing anything that you do that because it gives the overall shape of the drawing, that it all fits together properly. Anyway, so I used to think those books were so retarded, and why do they teach that way? And years later, when I finally understand why art is drawn the way it's drawn and how to draw stuff better than I could when I was just drawing from what I can see. It's like, when you're drawing from your mind, yeah, that is necessary information. You got to draw that way. It helps so much. Saves so much time too. So I know butterfly in there. I'm just kind of putting in some loose shapes, like I said. And then here, somewhere there's going to be swirls and stuff. Now, one thing I'm keeping in mind as I'm doing this work is there's certain things that we find beautiful. And I think it's probably because by evolution we're naturally attracted to the opposite sex. And no matter what I think we would end up looking like, we would be attracted to the opposite sex. If we were gorillas, we would find gorillas attractive. Now, as humans, we don't find them attractive, but if we were a gorilla, we would. And so things evolved to find the same species attractive. And it seems that then we find beauty in that which is in the opposite sex or within what we're used to being attracted to. So, for example, the thigh. You can represent the thigh like this. It has opposite C's, and this is where opposite C's come from in art. This is the top part of the thigh, and this is the calf. Now, then there's what is I just call opposites in general. You'd have an opposite line over here, and this is another opposite C if you focus on the other side of the leg, right? But notice they're opposites to each other, so we have these opposite shapes. So the different concepts then within design that you want to add into your design so that it has appeal to the person looking at it is you have your opposite C's, you have opposites in general, and opposites can appear like this, which looks really cool. You can also have opposites like this, which is more like, hips or buttock. You also have heart shapes, like this kind of shape where you kind of fit in these kind of curves, which are like kind of the mirror aspect, like you have the lips, right? Oops. So you have ellipse, you have the mirror aspect where it's the same thing on both sides. It's things we just find attractive. Then you have parallel structures where you have parallel lines following each other. Parallel curves usually, I mean, you can also have parallel lines like this. And notice that they're parallel to each other, but they're not in the same place. But you can have the same concept with curves. So you can have like a curved line here, then you follow that curve wherever you're coming off to elsewhere in the design, and you can also have it spiral out. We find spirals to be cool, and so you can continue moving those lines. They're all kind of parallel with each other on that. They're following that spiral line as you come into your design. So the reason why I wanted to go over that really quickly is I keep all that in mind as I'm designing anything. All right, so the main thing then, I know I need to have things coming down here to cover up that part of the tattoo, and then I'm going to have the opposite flow up here, which will be with the butterfly itself. So I'm actually going to end up moving the butterfly over to accomplish that, and I'm going to end up turning it as well, something like so it kind of flows. See, so the overall shape of my design now is flowing the same shape as I had before, and I'm going to have some type of leaf come off of here, and I don't want it to just, I'm going to have it turn and spiral and then kind of come back over here. And so to do that, I'm going to have it turn like this. And then when it turns back over here, I'm going to have it fold over again. So kind of almost like a snake or something, or a ribbon. I think that would be cool. And let's see here. Another curvy over here. This will be opposite. Notice I have this shape, so I'm following that shape as a mirror or opposite. And that's going to kind of come up like this. So with this kind of, and then the flower is going to come off of this. Oops, I don't know why I drew that line that way. At this part, I'm really just sloppy with my line work, because I try not to take the pen off the page as I'm just kind of moving around and stuff, but overall it's going to look really sloppy. That's fine though, because this is going to be more of a parallel line, so it's coming off, it's kind of following, and if I continue to follow that, spiral would go out like that. And that way it kind of comes into this flower here. And just trying to think of one more kind of swirl. I could probably have one more swirl coming within here like this. And that might be kind of cool. Something like that maybe. I could give it more of a magical swirl too, like maybe not that hand thingy. Looks kind of fiery. So maybe I can redesign that to be something else. Just thinking. So I'm just trying to go through the designing process, and I'm trying to tell you my thoughts and what's going through my head, so you know like the process of how I come up with stuff. How does my brain come up with this stuff, and how should it work and not work, and things like that. Why I decide to erase something like that. I noticed it was too close to that. It wasn't enough negative space, and it didn't look like it followed the overall opposite here. So there's like negative space, but I need it to all kind of flow together. And I might even have one more thing come off of this, something like that. Another swirly. And so that looks pretty cool. I'm liking that. Alright, so then it's just about laying in the foundation for this flower and the overall shape. There's going to be like some curly there. And let's see, this leaf will kind of come up. All right, so if I can recommend something to you, I just bought. If you need, tattoo references on the cheap, and they're good too. I just bought this book on Amazon. Got it in like 2 days. It's called Tattoo Johnny. There's 3,000 designs in it. They're all of pretty high quality. It's really good stuff. And if you ever look at the price of tattoo designs and flash work, it's really expensive. And obviously, you're not gonna have the time to like draw an entire reference collection just yourself. I'm working on one slowly, but you always have to have other reference work. So the people, the customer has tons of work to look at that they can be inspired by and be like, I really like this and this, and then you get an idea what they like. I always try to do custom tattoos for people. I don't like just doing straight what's in a reference book. Like here, I want that exactly. I mean, if that's what they want, I'll do it. But I'm like, hey, I think I can improve this design, and what are some other things you like? I can add those elements together for you, and we can make something really cool out of it. And they're like, oh yeah, let's do that. That's usually what I end up doing is some type of custom work. But to get inspiration to see what they like, they need to be able to look at something. So anyway, awesome reference book. If you were to buy this, the amount of designs that's in there, if you were to buy it all separate, it would cost you thousands of dollars. Like if you bought it as splash pages. So really save a lot of money that way. Also, for those of you that like video games, and if you've ever seen one of my video game vids, I have a video game channel now for that. So I'm going to put a link in the description, or maybe I'll even link to it in the actual video. And you can check out it's Hillbilly, I think it's Hillbilly One Gamer. I'm not actually Hillbilly, but originally I was going to just do this Hillbilly accent voice with all my videos because it's kind of funny, but I decided not to. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Check it out. I have Street Fighter tutorials on there and some other stuff, and I'm adding stuff. I have showing like the game design process, similar to what I'm doing here. I'm showing the designing process for a tattoo. I show like how to design games and what it takes to make a game good, why is a game fun, that sort of thing. I should be putting more of those kinds of videos up too. And then just some gameplay videos and tutorials, how to beat bosses, things like that. I take requests too, so if you wanted to have a particular thing, like, hey, how do I beat this boss in this game or something? If I can get around to it, I will. Right, so the flower looks something like that. So the colors are probably going to be kind of like orange, yellow, and red. That's what she likes for the flower. Just kind of overlooking it, making sure everything is the way I want it to be. All the shapes are there. And there's one thing about the tattoo I don't like, or about the design I don't like. Like sometimes people can design, like when you look at other people's work, it's like, yeah, they designed something kind of cool. The core concept's neat, but it's like if you just apply those principles I was talking about with opposite C's and all that to it, and then just redesign it a little bit, it's like all of a sudden, like, wow, that looks much cooler. So it's another reason why even if someone wants that exactly, like I want that right there, that's what I want on me, just like that. I'm like, well, just give me a chance to slightly tweak it, to just redesign it a little bit. And usually, the end result is something they like even more. Like, wow, I didn't think I can like it more than I did before, but I love this, that's what I want. So it only takes me a little bit to design something for them, so. Alright, so let's have something like that, another petal or leaf coming there. Right, so something like that I think would be the flower, and then this is going to be, I think, all yellow coming out, and then this will be like red and some orange in there. Anyway, so I'm liking the way that looks kind of cool. I could have another element over here like a wild leaf just kind of coming off or something, but I don't know if I like it, so nah. Next is a butterfly, and I think that flower is a little, overall it's too big. Like the whole thing I think is a little just too big, because now I need room for the butterfly, so, and I can still cover up that shape I need to, like that. Alright, so she wants a kind of a side view of a butterfly, and she showed me a bunch of different butterflies in this book that she liked, and so I'm going to just be kind of using all that as inspiration as I look through all the different butterflies and the swirlies she liked, and then none of them quite had the kind of magical swirlies she wanted, so I'm going to add all that to it. But so I'm thinking the butterfly is going to be like right in here, as if it's like about to land on the flower, or as if it is landing on the flower. And I'm like just about out of time on the video, so I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and end the video and then come back with the next part. So yeah, this tattoo is not as complicated as the other one, so it won't take me as long to design and see it through to the end. So stick with me if you're interested, and I'll have the part 2 up and stuff too. Maybe even part 3 or 4, however many parts it takes. Just don't take too many parts though. All right, so thank you for watching again. If you enjoy my videos, help me out, because the more people that comment and rate the video and subscribe to my channel, the better chance I have of getting more views, which means more people out there will learn about my channel, which means more people will have free art tutorials. I think I do a great thing here, and a lot of people appreciate it. And the more people we can get to this channel, that in other words, the more you comment and rate the videos, the more people come to the videos. It actually helps. It's like almost like advertising. And and the more people that find the videos, the more people we help become better artists. So it's like a thing we all do together. I don't know. Kind of rambling. Thank you.